Hello everyone, welcome back to another Planets in the Sky. Today we're going to go through all of January through June. On this picture you can see right there above the sun that's coming up, that big brown dark purple area. Here it is a little bit later, still in the same position. Also you can see the cutoff as well, casting shadow. Don't really need to point anything out there, do I? Or actually, don't need to point anything out there either, but I did. This is just a review of what basically we've seen over the last 6 months. On that picture, you can see that it's there on the left. Also, you can see that one. It's facing out. It's got a bit of a crescent flare. This is looking west in the morning. Pretty wild. And this one you can actually see coloration back in there in the dark area. And those are pretty obvious. Anybody can see those, even the blind ones. I mean, basically all you need to do is look for the areas where the sun is not illuminating the sky. And I don't mean the corners, where the obvious, glare takes away a little bit of the brightness, but in the areas that are dark without, the sun really making a difference there, kind of like that one. I mean, you can see it. It's red. I mean, lack of illumination everywhere on that sky. That's a pinch. Also, you should be able to see the planet on the left with a couple of these little colored balls down below and along the horizon. Those I'll point out. All these dark round circles behind the clouds, It's not just clouds, it's actually dark round cast shadows blocking light sides of planets. We're seeing the back side, so of course we're going to see the darker side. That one you can see the planet and its moon. Here you can see its moon, and there's got to be more than that, I'm pretty sure, but that's a really weird looking picture. That one's, yeah, just the big bottom of Nibiru there. You can tell by the fingers, the stretched out area there. That one, you can see that one on the left. There's one obviously by the sun because light's coming out on both sides of it. That one, you can see the shadow on the bottom pretty well there where the water meets the clouds. Yeah, great big dark round shadow. That's not from a cloud, even though a lot of people want to tell you it is. Kind of like that dark area up there where the sunlight is not illuminating it, but it's right there. That's not an anomaly. That's a planet. Those you can see as well, real well. I mean, you got to kind of ignore the clouds mostly and just look for the dark sides. And, I mean, look at that. I mean, the sun's coming up, and yet the whole sky on that right top is just dark. There you can see the sunlight is going all the way around over the top, and that's a very strange picture. I guess a lot of people would see a face. Another strange picture. And right over there, you can see the circle, the dark circle with the protruding little ball there. You can see the dark circle with the protruding little ball there. And you can see the dark circle. And that one's pretty obvious to see. You see one behind it too on the bottom left. And then you can see the cast shadow. How the light's going all the way around it. And that one's, I mean, I don't really have to say much for that one, do I? It's got a crescent illumination before sunrise. That one you can just see plain as day on the right, the big red one. Yeah, the sun is already set in that one. And here's the sun peeking around the side of what appears to be a planet, and that's just a really cool picture right there. The sun always goes down on the far right on that one where the auditorium is. All that other light up there reflecting is pretty much, you know, you guessed it, something reflecting light, probably a planet. Look at the cast shadow on that one. That one's pretty easy to see. You got a crescent illumination on, you know, the bottom going up the right side, and you got the dark side on the other side. See, there's the dark. It's casting shadow. The light's bending around it. I mean, it's pretty plain as day, if that's what you're looking at. If you're not looking at that, you're just going to go, oh, that's just clouds. Here's some pretty good cutoffs. See how the light bends around the blue sky? And there's a dark spot again. The big O for obvious. I mean, the sun's right there. Should be lit up. And you can see the crescent on this one. And the cast shadow, it's pushing out behind it. Again, with the cast shadow. And you can see the planet right dead center there, just to the left, the purple area. Not in the hole, but to the left. And you got light coming around the bottom and going up the side of what's right there. And yeah, you should be able to see that pretty well. I mean, that's pretty obvious. It's got a shadow line and everything, just like a ball would. And we got some obvious colorations before sunrise. And up there you can see the dark shadow. The light is obviously bending around something. And that one's pretty obvious too, as is the one on the far left, the big shadow that's curving downwards there. And we got that one is pretty obvious. I don't think I need to point it out. It's the whole left side of the top half of the sky. It's got a rounding down coming out. And you should be able to see the shadows in that one by now. The light's coming out from behind the planet on the left. And we'll point these out for you. Nice dark round shadows. There's a really cool picture. For those of you that believe in the red and blue Kachina, this is probably why the Hopi Indians saw the red and blue Kachina. I mean, look at that. That is just whack-a-doo on the picture. No enhancements. No Photoshop. No nothing. The only thing is my signature that I added to the picture. That is just a really cool picture too. Lots of red in the skies lately. And that's pretty obvious. There's also one on the right, but I didn't mark it out. Figured you could see it for yourself. And that one's pretty obvious too. The light's going around the face of that. See how it's round? There are no such thing as round clouds, so keep that in mind. Also, you can see the light bending from the left going up to the center of the picture, you know, like it's going around something. Here, I marked it out on this one. See how the light's going around that area? And see how the light, oops, I didn't make that one big enough, did I? But you can still see it, it's big and round. There's two of them there. We got light breaking around something on the left. We got light breaking around something on the right. This is a really cool picture. That's all reflection time after sunset. That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening either. That's after sunset, believe it or not. Sun had already set, and yet it was still on the water, reflecting off of another planet. Look along the horizon line as well on that one. Also red and blue Kachina for those of you that follow that. And you can see the cast shadow on the left side of the sun there. See how the light's breaking around something and casting a shadow? Also, a great shadow line on that. Look at that. And you can see that one over there. The light goes around. There's also one on the right. And right there. This is after sunset, when we get all the illuminations. There it is right there, again, with its little moon. The things on the left, I'm still trying to figure out myself. There's a big round shadow in the sky. There's also one on the far right there, but that one's eclipsing the sun. I thought I'd point it out. Also on the left, you got a dark blue and a light blue, two different colored. And, you know, can't say those are clouds. All right, this one's kind of tricky. The lights, the two suns basically that you're seeing, that's light coming out from around the bottom of a planet. And those are pretty obvious. You can see how the light's bending around. Too large. And there they are lit up after sunset the same day. And there's that one right there. Pretty obvious. I should have put obvious on it. I mean, it's a red round circle. That one I don't think I need to point out. It's only got a dark side and a illumination of a crescent. This one on the left and on the right, I marked out the one on the right, the round circle there above, and its little moon below. You know, all these upper atmosphere clouds and everything behind them. Wow, look at that. Come on, you can't tell me you don't see that. It's got a facial illumination on the far right there with all dark side on the back. And that's just a really cool picture. I had to put that one in there. I mean, wow. Check out this one. Especially on the right there. See how the light's bending around that one? No? Well, let's take another look. Now it's eclipsing on the right. See how the light's still going all the way around that blue sky with clouds in it that aren't illuminated? Yeah. Sky don't do that. And that is just such a cool picture. I wouldn't even begin to try to point everything out. And this one's a pretty decent eclipse happening there on the left side of the sun. You see how the blue sky is pushing right into it, blocking the sun. And we got some over here as well. You see how the shadows are round. They illuminate upwards, not towards us. The sun goes down on the far left on this one. And look at all that reflecting after sunset. Those are pretty obvious. And that great big shadow on the left. Ignore the clouds. Just look at the big shadow. That shadow shouldn't be there. This is a reflection after sunset of the sun on other planets, illuminating them for the short time they do. The one on the left there, you can see the dark round circle on the left side of the sun. You can also see the cutoff points from the other. And this is also a pinch. You can see how the light's going around the blue sky and not illuminating it. Yeah, that one's just too cool because that's the sun going down on the right, but what's over on the left is just reflecting sunlight. You can kind of see it in that picture. And you can see how the light's coming out the back side of that planet over there. You got yellow and purple. And then you got really big one right there, blocking the light on the right. As you can see, the light's going around this edge. See how it's pushing up left and down under? Also, you can see the big round areas behind the thin clouds, because there are no big clouds up that high in the sky, so they can only be one thing. Obvious. And this one, you can see the crescent illumination on the left side of the sun going from the boat right to the top dead center. And look at all that. That just looks like 4th of July. Tell me I'm wrong. And this one, you can see that it's 2 planets there. Kind of separates them up a little bit for you. And this one we got from Debbie McClure. You can see how the light's going down and under, all the way under. See how it's got 2 points of origin on the light now? And there's just the bottom of Nibiru. It kind of looks like the one from earlier with the fingers. You can see how the light's going down and under and around and illuminating something behind it. And you can see how the light is bending, being pinched down, crushed almost. See this? See how it's being blocked? You got dark side on the back of it. And that is just a really cool picture too. You got that big green thing, and you got the big blue thing, and you got the red thing. There's that crazy red. And again, that's just the light coming out from both sides of a planet. It's not 2 suns. And you can see the curvature going from the top right all the way down to the mountains on the side left, blocking the light. Also the light going from, one side of to the other. That was a little bit earlier, and this was a little bit earlier than that. Look how cool that looks. It's the only time you see the whole sky illuminated is when the freaking sun is below horizon. And that is just a really cool picture. Tell me it's not. All right, this one. 1, 2, 3. Which one do you think the sun is? Here's a hint. All right, we got light coming up on the left and the right now, reflecting on the water very much. And there it is again. It's getting brighter. If you chose number 3, you were right. All right, with that in mind, y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching. Please share.